Hey, Stoney here, and this is Mechabellum Tournament. At the bottom here, we have Clint Leewood. He's playing as a quick supply specialist, and at top, we have Sparty playing as a supply specialist. This is the first game of the mini tournament Americas. Okay, round two. It looks like a skip for a bottom player, Clint here, and it looks like a heavy armor for Sparty. Now, looking at the position of Sparty with the Mustangs slightly behind the marksman, this is a telltale sign that he might go assault mode marksman. So the way it works is you have Mustangs in the back with assault mode. Your marksman will gain 500% more HP, essentially mini tanks. So the marksman will tank for the damage. The Mustangs will deal the damage. And on Clint's side, it looks like a pretty standard 4-sledge opening. A very popular opening for quick supplies. One of the key ways of playing 4-sledge is you want to make sure that it gets leveled. Because if it never gets leveled, eventually you'll get outscaled by things like Mustangs, by things like assault marksmen. So you want to make sure that they are well protected, as well as supported. So what I mean by protected, you want to have chaff not just in front of the tanks like what Clint had, but also chaff that are running forward. So we'll take a look at this board in just a second. So for Clint, he had fans up front, and he started to add chaff behind the tower. So what will happen is that once these fans are depleted, the chaffs, the crawlers will run forward, protecting these rows of sledgehammers. Sparty understands that. Sparty understands the moment you take away the protection, these tanks will be under fire from these marksmen, which means they're not going to get as much experience as they should. And therefore, Sparty added a arc light right there in the corner with no other purpose than to pull these fans over. And he might do it again on this side. So when you're positioning your fan like this behind the tower, everything in this box gets pulled to that corner. So in this case, only these two fans are going to run forward, which is not enough to offer that protection. So that's protection for the 4-sledge. What about support? Well, sledgehammers themselves, at the early level, let's say level 1 and 2, they can be seen as chaff bear. But once they start to level past level 3, they actually do quite a lot of damage, so they cause a lot of overkill. So you no longer want them to do the chaff bear. You want them to focus on things like the assault marksman, on the giants, right, stuff like that. So right now, it's okay. I think Clint is putting down this Vulcan to just further support his sledgehammers. He does have a bit of a problem against this Sandworm. I think right now the only damage dealer he has are these marksmen and these sledgehammers. Vulcan does not run Ignite, which in itself is a very effective tool against giants. But I think he might be able to get the Sandworm. Yeah, with the debuff, I think he should be able to get the Sandworm. And this is what I was talking about, right? So this is where the snowballs start to roll. We have 4 squads already leveled to level 2. So Clint is definitely going to take that. And finally, Assault Marksman tech is being added to these marksmen. So both boards are evolving very quickly. For this round, I think I want to give the points to Sparty's board. I think the moment you have this marksman setup, it's going to be very strong. I am a little concerned about these Mustangs. There it is, range. I was about to say that right now the Mustangs are running into the Vulcan fire. Not very good, considering they're very squishy. But with range, it will shoot from the safety in this distance and not getting caught in the fire. The Sandworm on the field is continuing to do work, which is excellent. And Sparty is just trying different ways to pull away the chaff. So putting the arc light here, it works the same way as putting the arc light here at a corner. So if you have something at that corner, you actually pull away units in this box here. So at the higher level of play, positioning is everything. The ability to disrupt your opponent's army and also the sequence of your opponent's attack waves is huge. And I was talking about, here's another arc light, right? This arc light has successfully pulled the crawlers, killed the crawlers, got the tower, And in this case, probably going to get the win for Sparty. So very evenly matched game so far. Couldn't tell which one is ahead at the moment. It really depends. So right now, when I see Mustangs versus Sledgehammers, whoever gets more levels wins, right? With Sledgehammers, there is a bit of a trap because, like I said earlier, once they get one more level, you can no longer treat them as chaff players. So you will have to support them, otherwise they'll just fall behind because they themselves aren't really that great at chaff player compared to things like Arclights or even Mustangs. All right, intensive training is picked up by Sparty. I wonder if it's going to continue to level up his marksman. Marksman past level 2, pretty darn good. Has the ability to start one-shotting these sledgehammers, and also can really reliably tank Vulcan because of the 500 plus health with this technology. It looks like it's going to be the Mustangs, so this one is now going to level 4. All is missing is an item, and then this Mustang could probably carry the rest of the game. And this is very interesting, as you can see here. Playing sold the Rhino that was defending against this Arclight, and repurchased the Rhino here now that he knows the Arclight is pulling units at the top. He also added another Rhino at the bottom. So don't be afraid to sell units for the only purpose of repositioning them. A lot of times it saves your momentum, and it just drastically improves your board because now all of your units are supporting each other and they're attacking as a unified army instead of a fragmented guerrilla warfare style groups. Alright, things are looking pretty dire for Sparty here. There's really no defense on the other side, so with the Sledgehammer taking Mech Rage, making them a lot more effective at clearing out chaff, we are getting a little close here. Now, I don't believe the damage is there for Clint, though, with the Sandworm. Okay, so at this board, ooh, Fortress was picked up, Sabertooth was added. I actually wouldn't mind Fortress for Clint. I think he just wanted the Saber cash. Sparty going big here with the War Factory. War Factory has always been the go-to unit against Sledgehammer carries. War Factory not only is extremely tanky, it does a lot of damage that is directly on the breakpoint of Sledgehammer. So right now this War Factory does 7,500 damage. And let's take a look at the units, right? Level 2 Sledgehammer, 1 shot. Level 1, 1 shot. Level 3, 2 shots. So a very potent unit. This one War Factory alone is probably going to clear up this entire cluster of stuff here. With Clint, I think he picked the Vulcan. So this is what I was talking about. Vulcan is now stepping in as the chaff clear, whereas the tanks themselves are now officially carry units dealing with the large units. Sandworm got the armor enhancement, and that's a one tough Sandworm. I don't actually think Clint is able to kill that Sandworm this turn, especially with the War Factory here on the side. So just watch this War Factory, right? Just one-shotting tanks. Okay, so it looks like Sparty has successfully plugged the hole here on the left side. In the middle, the tanks do have Electromag, so that is disabling the armor, allowing the Vulcan to do some damage. But it's very unfortunate the Vulcans themselves don't run Ignite, because if they do run Ignite, with range, with Ignite, they themselves become giant killers. They actually is able to contest things like War Factory. But because they don't, right now the Vulcans are just chaff clear. So very unfortunate. Sometimes, you know, you pick technology based on the strategy that you're going for, but you can't always predict what's going to happen. Best partner, I think this is the optional tech, right? All the other 3 techs are pretty required. Best partner is optional. I think he was thinking something like a marksman carry, and marksman Vulcan with best partner can be pretty powerful. Okay, because he doesn't have Ignite, the answer to all the giants on Sparty's board are going to be these 2 melting point. Melting Point does suffer quite a bit with the Sandworm, because every time the Sandworm goes under the Melting Point, we have to charge up once again. So right now it's up to the Sandworm to see how quickly they can actually defeat the units in front of it. Looking at Clint's board, he doesn't have a lot of crawlers, and crawlers is always required to keep the Sandworm above the ground, because if you don't have crawlers, let's say you have things like sledgehammers, once the Sandworm gets rid of like the first 3, it can no longer reach the 4th one, so we'll go under, break contact with the Melting Point, pop up again, and then Melting Point you have to start all over again. Okay. Double War Factory, yeah, I think this might be the final round. I don't see a way for Clint to actually kill 2 War Factory with one of them being level 2. This Sandworm is doing a lot of work. Oh no, this Sandworm is actually in range of the Melting Point. Alright, come on, get under. There it is. Ooh, Sandworm gets under. This War Factory though? And that's game. That is game. Good game. A very smooth game from Sparty. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this game, and I will see you on the next one.
Prepare your tactics, Mechabellum's calling. Deploy your fortress, the battlefield's alive with swarms.